Disney Channel. How could I ever be so naive as to think that you can make a decent live-action movie? Stupid, stupid, stupid. What is up with Prince of Persia? It was so terrible that I just laughed at it the whole time. The dialogue was so terrible, and I could be throwing in a spoiler. I'm not really sure, so spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this movie and you're super excited about it, you should probably just stop listening, because it's going to kill the mood for the movie. But, for one, they don't know how to shoot an action scene. All of the action scenes look like this. Here, I'll show you. That was the action scene throughout the whole movie. And the dialogue was terrible. They couldn't decide whether they wanted to talk in the type of English from their time, or if they wanted to talk a little more modern so we can understand it. It changed every few seconds. It sounded like they had a laugh track, and every time someone said anything threatening, all of the extras at the same time go, ooh, ah, the whole time. And they didn't know how to shoot a shot, because sometimes they'd have someone talking and they'd be like this. And they'd be talking like this, and this would be the shot. So, Disney doesn't know what they're doing with this movie. The one thing I liked is the whole time travel thing. They didn't try to explain it with science. They left it to magic. But you can tell it was a video game movie, because they were gonna break into some palace thing, and they go, and the gates are over there and over there, and it pans super fast to the gates, and you feel like they're setting you up for a mission in the game, and you need to grab your controller, which I thought was kind of dumb. It's a movie, you need to separate it. Also, the beginning felt a lot like Aladdin, and I was waiting for Abu to jump out with this little hat, you know. And the whole thing was just so ridiculous that it was laughable, and people didn't know how to die in that movie. Spoiler, his brother gets killed by some evil dude, and his last words are, "Oh, save the kingdom!" Oh. That's how they died in that movie. And and even in the action scenes, all you ever saw were the people dying. You never saw what was happening. There was one scene where it started out kind of looking like an MMA fight, and then all of a sudden it was just like, nope, and you can't see what's going on anymore. It kind of reminds me of when you watch a cartoon and you just see a big, all the characters are running around in a ball and there's just dust around them. That's all this was. And the camera angles, they're so terrible. It's disorienting. And one of the scenes shows him and the princess lady that he ends up falling in love with, holding hands, but it zooms in really close like this. But the quality of that shot was so grainy, out of focus, terrible, and shaky that it looked like me, you know, someone like me standing with my camera holding it out like this. And I just don't think Disney should have made the movie. I honestly don't think this should have been a movie made at all. But if it was, definitely not by Disney. They did a terrible, terrible job with it. The only thing is, I still recommend you go see it, because you will laugh so much. It is so ridiculously, it's unintentionally funny. And if you've ever been to a movie that was unintentionally funny, you know what I'm talking about. And this is one of those that you have to go see. I wouldn't pay full price. I don't even know if I'd pay matinee. A lot of cities have dollar theaters. I'd go see it there, or I would just rent it. Because it's worth watching once to make fun of, and you'll have all these inside jokes. Also, Jake Gyllenhaal never took off his shirt. Why would you put Jake Gyllenhaal in a movie and then have him not take off his shirt? There is something evil about Disney that they didn't want me to see. Jake Gyllenhaal's awesome. Just hot body. But, another thing is they tried to throw in a penis joke, and it was really lame. This one guy who they kind of team up with and become enemies back and forth with is like, You know what they say about big swords? Disney, you can't make a big joke. You just can't do it. That's not your territory. Leave that to somebody else. But that's not yours. And also, every time I see Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie, he doesn't fit the role at all. He is not some bad boy prince, you know. Nowhere near that. Every time I saw him, the look that he'd get in his eyes, honestly all I could think about was Brokeback Mountain. And how sensitive he looked. And how he didn't look anywhere near the tough, rugged prince he was supposed to be. And how demanding of this princess he was, and how confidently he was supposed to carry himself. All I could think about was him having sex with Heath Ledger. That's what it looked like. You know, and every time they were about to kiss, you know, they just wouldn't. And I kept thinking, Brokeback Mountain, you're not going to kiss a girl. You're gay. And I'm not like attacking Jake Gyllenhaal, but this role was not made for him. And there was nothing in this role for him to work with in the first place. A lot of video games need to stay video games, and that's just how it is. I've never seen a good video game movie ever. But like I said, in no way am I attacking Jake Gyllenhaal. Brokeback Mountain I thought was a good movie when I watched it, although I watched it when it came out and I was pretty young, so I need to watch it again. But I'm just saying, Jake Gyllenhaal, this is not the role for you, and you should have gone shirtless for some of the movie. That's really all I have to say about this. I'm going to start rating movies an A to F scale, and the only reason this movie doesn't get an F is because I laughed my ass off through the whole thing at how unintentionally funny it was. This movie gets a D. Yeah. So, go see Prince of Persia when it comes into a dollar theater, or go rent it, and I guarantee you will laugh the whole way through it, and it is bearable because of how funny it is. But don't go and pay full price, you know, don't do that. It's not worth it. One more thing, everyone clapped at the end of the movie, which I just thought was ridiculous. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Prince of Persia. Comments below on what you thought of Prince of Persia if you watched it, and if you have any other funny things that you noticed. There are so many funny things about this movie that I just don't have time to cover. You'll just have to go see it for yourself.